as you know, I had the problem with the S1C with the lower base gasket going, and I had to pop the barrel off, which means then I've got to put the piston back up into the barrel. And I went out and brought a piston ring compressor, but what I forgot was it's the one where you've got the piston off the bike. If you're keeping the piston all fitted onto your conrod and you just want to push it back up into the barrel, you need something like this. Now this is a laser set, and it goes from 40mm to 85mm. I'll double check the size of my piston, but it took me some time to find one small enough for this, because most of the piston ring compressor ones of this style seem to start from about 62mm, which was too big. It wasn't suitable for a motorcycle, so hence why I've got this. So let's go in the garage and we'll fit it round the piston and see if we can get the piston back into the bore. I'll probably end up oiling up the inside of the band and bit so that it slides all in there nicely, but we'll see if it works. I've never used one of these before. I've used the style for when you've got the piston off to put it in from the bore from the bottom down into the piston, and they work quite well, but this, completely new to me. Last time I put it in, and the purists out there are going to go mad, I used the screwdrivers, like flat bladed ones, and was using that to compress the piston rings with someone helping me and juggle it in. It does work, so I may end up doing that yet if this doesn't work, but we'll see. So just to confirm, I did measure this before, but yeah, the piston on the S1C is 45mm, which is there. So let me get set up, and then we'll attempt to drop this bore on, which is going to be interesting. So what you can see on the screen at the moment is an example of the lower piston ring. Around the groove there's a little dot. If you look at the ends of the piston rings there, they're like diagonally slanted. They have to come together where that dot is, and that allows the rings to be fully compressed. If you have that dot underneath the piston ring, try to compress them, you will compress them, but the piston won't go in because it'll stick out too far and you're likely to break a piston ring. So I've got to find the one for the top one, which if I remember rightly is round on the far side here. Now I've got a little mirror here, like a little compact mirror, and yeah, it looks like it's round the back there. I'll try and get a picture for you. Well, it's in. Yeah, I'm lost for words for this piece of kit. Right, I didn't use this. I kept trying to use it and you can't get in there and it doesn't fit between the... So I didn't use that. So I used the second size band up. Basically, put some oil on the inside of it here, wrapped it round the piston and held it in my hands, like so. With the other hand, carefully balanced the bore on, made sure I had all the things, like put it on, and it just dropped straight in. I think it was a fluke. Up until then, I've probably spent about an hour trying to get that on there. So yeah, I'm not overly impressed with that, but it did it. I can't knock it. It did do it. But don't use that. I use just my fingers. So yeah, you need to try it your own way. But I think what you really want is with this is some sort of pliers that you can pull on, but also they don't go all the way round the piston, and then the second one goes too far round the piston, so they're not the best. Yeah, would I buy this set again? No, I would not. My honest opinion. I mean, it's on, but what a faff. So right, now that's on, let's get the head bolted on, and then we can put the exhaust back on. But Jesus, I need a couple of things. Right, gasket's on. Hang the head on. Then I'm going to put the 4 big flat washers on. I think what we're going to do is we're going to stick the locking washers on the top of them. Maybe I should have used them last time, but the big question is, what the hell did I do with the bag that had all the locking washers and everything in them? Because at the moment I can't find it. I was working down here with it. but it don't seem to be here. So, right, let me have a look and see if I can find. Right, I found the bag of fasteners. They had a big neon sign pointing to them saying over here, but I was blind so I couldn't see it. But yeah, I've got them at last. Right, so let's put on 4 lock washers. And then we'll clamp down on those. Hopefully that will stop it from coming loose this time. I think because I didn't do that last time, it's worked loose. But what happened was, I never had locking washers originally, and I locked them down and they've stayed down. But I think what's happened here, it's rust holding them down where they've been locked for like 200 years. So next time when I eventually open this up and we have to do any other head gaskets, we will definitely, right, where's the nuts? They're here. We will definitely change the setup to use lock washers. Right, I don't want to get them cross-threaded. Right, that ain't going on, is it? Right, I'm going to have to do this, hold up. Right, I've got the head roughly on. What I need to do now is pull the damn thing down. So I'll get the torque wrench and we'll give that a torque up, then we can get the carburetor on. We can put the exhaust back on and the rear foot peg. And then we'll start it up, we'll warm it up to temperature. This is what I normally do, you warm it up to temperature, get it hot, then you shut it off, let it cool down, re-torque the head back down. Then you start it up again, take it for a ride, get it warm, shut it down, leave it overnight to cool down, and then torque it down again, then take it out for another ride, go a bit further. Then when you come back and you torque it, it shouldn't move. That's what I do. As I say, unfortunately we blew the bottom bloody gasket last time. Oh, sorry, language, Timothy. Right, let's get this thing torqued. Right, so we're going up in increments of 5 Newton meters. Cool. That one's done. And we're doing them diagonally as well. Done. Our goal is 22 Newton meters, and I'm going to just tighten into 15 at the moment. Right, let's set it up to another 5. Right, I've got them all done. We'll just quick round and do them. That's one. That's one. That's one. I've got a bit more on that one. That one. That one. That one. Right, they're all done. 23 foot-pounds. Not foot, Newton meters. Right, let's get this thing back together. Well, it's not often I can use the phrase cooking on gas, so the exhaust is all on. Foot peg's back on. Rear one, sorry. Up there somewhere. Head's back on, all torqued down. Carbs are all back on, air filter's on, so we don't seem to have any fuel leaks. So what we need to do now is wheel this outside, start it up, run it up to temperature, and then check the head once it's cooled down. Right, let's see if this thing starts. Right, now we just leave it running to warm up, get it really hot, turn it off, put it back in the garage, and then tomorrow morning we can check it very early and hopefully all be good. Right, that's warming up now. We'll chuck it back in the garage, leave it overnight, check the head in the morning.